ketchup on. Thank you, thank you. Thank you very much. I love you too. Thank you. And I know why you're happy, because we're back from vacation and Trump is on his. It's amazing. No, we were off the whole month. The day I come back, he goes, it's like we're lining up our cycles. With Donald Trump. But, I mean, just the concept of a Trump vacation. What? I mean, he spends all his time golfing, eating cake, watching TV, tweeting stupid shit. What's a vacation for him? Lapsing into a coma? And, you know, usually, we've seen this over the years, when presidents go on vacation, the White House puts out a list of the books they're going to be reading. Right, you know, like, always something fun but respectable, a Tom Clancy novel, and then, of course, a book of poems by a black lady, and 10 books about Lincoln. With the Trump White House, not even trying to put out this list. They were like, we are the most full of shit people in the history of the world, but there are limits. We're not even gonna try. But he's going partly on vacation because the White House needs a renovation. It is an old building. Of course, there are 8 people, says a Sports Illustrated writer, who heard Trump say the White House is a real dump. I mean, can you imagine? We'll get to that later in the show. I don't want to tip the ending, but it just galls me. A real dump, to call it a dump, I mean, maybe it needs some work, but a dump, when I think of a dump, I think of a place that's full of rats, that's leaking. Oh, wait. When is Trump going to learn that everything he says now, he's the president, is going to get out there? This week, he had a very bad phone week. Very bad week with the phone. First of all, he claimed that there were 2 calls that happened that plainly never happened. One with the head of the Boy Scout. Oh, did you see that Boy Scout thing? That speech was the creepiest thing I have ever seen a Republican politician ever do to the Boy Scouts. And Dennis Hastert used to fuck them. But yeah, Trump claimed that after that speech, which the Boy Scouts had to apologize for the president's speech, he said the head of the Boy Scouts called him and said it was the greatest speech he'd ever heard. And then they got a hold of the head of the Boy Scouts. He said, no. No, never happened. Don't have his number. Wouldn't say that if I did. And then Trump said the president of Mexico called him to praise his immigration policies. They got a hold of the president of Mexico. No. Not at all. Wouldn't do that. We keep records. Ridiculous. Why would the president of Mexico praise Trump's immigration? Because they had a big new immigration policy proposal this week. Trump wants to cut legal immigrants in half. He wants to cut immigration in half, but don't give him any ideas. No, they want to change the policy to bring in immigrants only with skills that America needs. You know, engineers, doctors, Slavic lingerie models. And then, you know, his conversations with foreign leaders, they were leaked this week. I don't know if that's a good thing. But he tells the president of Mexico at one point, I won New Hampshire, which he didn't. I won New Hampshire because it's a drug-infested den. Okay, this is so fucking ridiculous. I have been to New Hampshire. It's not a drug-infested den. And I would know because at my house, I have a drug-infested den. I actually have one. It's my man cave. But then the call, you saw this one to the Australian Prime Minister, this one takes the cake. First of all, Trump doesn't know the word for refugee. He's struggling. He doesn't know the word for dairy, apparently. He's talking about the fact that there's 1,200 Australian immigrants who are coming here. We promised to take them. The Australian Prime Minister is patiently explaining to this idiot that they've been vetted by both the Australian and U.S. security officials, and Trump, no, I guarantee they are bad. He says, they are not going to be wonderful people who are going to work for local milk people. Local milk people. This is when the Australian Prime Minister says, put mommy on the phone. Local milk people. But you know, let's catch you up. I've only been off a month. Christ, it's... Oh, thank you very much. Let me catch you up on what happened with some of the... A lot of changes at the White House in 1 month. Sean Spicer, the press spokesman, out, right? Reince Priebus, he was the chief of staff. He's out, replaced by General Kelly, who was the head of Homeland Security, who's out there. And now Rick Perry, they say, is going to be in. Also, Eric has been demoted to Tiffany. Jared is now married to Kellyanne, and to no one's surprise, Ivanka is replacing Melania. Also, Jeff Sessions is still hiding under his desk, and Rex Tillerson will now be reporting directly to Putin. Okay, so those are the changes. Steve Bannon's position is still the same, bent over, sucking his own cock. Okay, that's not my... Those were the words of Anthony Scaramucci, who I never even got a shot at. This guy was in and out faster than Taco Bell. It was like an episode... It's like an episode of The Jersey Shore where the situation moves to Washington for a week. But, ladies and gentlemen, all that chaos is over now because Trump has called the military, and General Kelly is on the case. He's the chief of staff now. No more of this erratic, unhinged bullshit that's been going on. He's going to find out who's responsible for that. Who could it be? Yes, the White House has a new sheriff. He is kicking ass. He is taking names. Everybody's got to look right now. Today, General Kelly knocked on Steve Bannon's door. He said, hey, quit sucking in there and get back to work.